Hello folks, how you all doing? Hope you're all keeping well. Right, in this video we are continuing working on Bernard, in particular the air brakes, with a small fault that was found. Making the new air brake pipe was, how shall we say, an interesting experience. Let's see how we got on. Right, so another one of the problems that was found whilst we were at the Capable Military Vehicle Show was there was a air leak on the actual braking system. Now, as my mate Ian picked this up, you could hear a very slight hiss, and quite quickly he located the problem. The pipe here, being an early model Matador, you got two air tanks. I think they generally realised the original air tank they fit just wasn't big enough, so to compensate they just added another one. If you look at the later Matadors, they just have just one larger tank. So anyway, we've got two tanks, and the joining pipe here, so Ian picked up quite quickly, is a tiny little hiss. And I don't know if we can zoom in on there. Oh, there it is. Little hole there, it's only going to get worse. So we have got some new pipe, the right size, 5/16 I believe it is. We have some new unions. The pipe's in copper, so we will make up a new pipe. We'll get it fitted, then we'll run Bernard up, see if we can get air pressure, and double check everything's okay. Right, that's one air brake pipe now completely disassembled. It wasn't too bad to come apart. Did have to cut one end off to get an olive off because it just really didn't want to shift. So these are the original olives, them two there. I'm going to try and reuse them just purely because if you can see against the new one, they are much more over-engineered. And really and truthfully, there's probably no reason why they can't be reused, because we're not going onto steel pipe this time. We're actually going to be replacing with copper. Now, I think I said earlier in the video the pipe was a 5/16. That was just a mistake on my behalf. The replacement pipe is actually 5/8. So that, in new money, equates to it's a roughly sort of 16 kind of mil pipe. So it's slightly different to your standard plumbing copper pipe. It is 5/8 pipe, and this is used for refrigeration units. It's quite a thick wall pipe, and I know other Matador owners have used this before, so it seems to be a recommended way to go. Manual corrosion, etc. That is the plan. Now all we need to do is measure the length and then form this shape. It doesn't need to be exactly the same. I think the general idea of the curves is to allow for a little bit of vibration so you don't get any fractures in the pipe. The fuel pipes are the same, they've all got loops in them as well, again, so just to allow for that vibrations, there's no stretching, and it doesn't break or, let's say, fracture a pipe through use. So the plan is we will probably get a pot of some sort of paint pot maybe, or something like that, to form this twist on the coil here. This bit here, nice and straight, should be fairly easy to do. The reverse bend here, I might have to get out my pipe benders and literally just put that bend on there just to keep it nice and smooth. Could probably do it by hand, but I'd like to think if we can do it with a pipe bend, it might just look a little bit neater. That is the plan. If it works, we shall see. It's very similar to doing brake pipes, but just on a slightly bigger scale. If you can see the hole now, I mean, that's obviously I've picked that and it's got bigger. I mean, it was a tiny little hole which did have that bit covering it. All the original pipes have got these little tags on them. I might clean it up and see whether there's any sort of numbers on there, or I'm not even sure why these tags are on there. But that's the part where it rotted away. That little pinhole just underneath there. Well, I'm glad Ian found that one. It was a tiny little hiss, so that'll be another job we can tick off our list. Right, the first attempt at bending the pipe didn't exactly go to plan. This pipe is actually incredibly difficult to bend. it just wants to crush because it's such a tight curve on it. It just crushes. So yeah, didn't go exactly according to plan. Using a standard set of pipe benders, these ones here, that didn't work either. So we had to resort to old school. Dug around in my toolbox and found one of these. It's basically a 1/2 inch long sprung pipe bending tool basically, and you insert it inside the copper pipe so it doesn't crush. This actually worked quite well. So there we go. Metal one, new copper one. Like I say, this was more complicated than it needed to be. In my head, I thought that'd be fairly easy. It's like a brake pipe. We can bend that and we can sort of like get it to the shape we needed. No, not really. Ridiculously complicated. And then trying to get that sprung tool threaded through and back out again, it was a lot of hard work. Like I say, considerably longer than I anticipated, but I'm quite happy with the finish. Looks pretty neat. Managed to get the original olives on there, so we will get it fitted up. We'll burn it up and double check for leaks. And there it is, one air brake pipe fitted. Looking lovely, shiny and new. As I previously said, this was a tricky little bugger, to be perfectly honest. When I said earlier in the video that it was sort of like complicated to make, complicated probably wasn't the right word. It was straightforward. The pipe itself just wasn't very easy to manipulate. That's really what I was getting at. Say straightforward to make, but like I say, not exactly easy to shape. But that's on. We'll get them fired up. We'll double check for leaks. Hopefully it should be job done. Right, we're up to 100 psi now on the air brakes. So what we'll do is we'll turn the engine off, we'll check for leaks, and we'll see how long it holds pressure for. Right, well, first things first is we can't actually hear any air leaking, which is always a good sign. I mean, it was quite evident before. So we will try. Well, we're not blowing any bubbles. Well, it looks good to me. No big bubbles. We'll say the leak test has been passed. Right, that's another job ticked off the list. God blimey, we're going to road test soon. Or not. Scary thought. Right, well that's one more little job ticked off the list. The rather challenging brake pipe. In my head it was going to be a rather straightforward job. I've done brake pipes before on plenty of other vehicles, fuel pipes. You manipulate them slightly and just shape them to how you want them to be. This being a much larger bore, it was very difficult to bend, hence having to put the spring inside. Every time you try to bend it, it just wanted to kink. So that was the challenge of it. A few people in one of the Facebook groups had said to me I should have filled it full of sand. Tried that, or someone else even said put molten lead inside, which seemed a little bit excessive, but it could possibly work, I don't know. Next time, if I have to do one again, I will possibly try the route of filling with sand. That seems to be quite an old school way of doing it, and we'll see if it works. But I'm hoping I haven't got any more brake pipes to replace. But if I do, that's what we will try. Right, if you can see just to the back of me here, we are still continuing with other projects as well. That is a Series 1 Land Rover bulkhead. Yes, another little project. I don't know why I do it to myself. There's not enough hours in a day, to be perfectly honest. Right, if you watched the previous little short video done for that lovely little barn-find truck, that is a 1950 Albion 6x4 machinery body truck. From what I've read and from what I've been told by other people, there was only about either 59 or 60 of them made, and this one is possibly only 1 of 4 left in existence. So fantastic little barn find. If you saw in the video, it did start, it did run, and it did drive onto the truck and off the truck. That is now mothballed awaiting recommissioning, but that is a beautiful little vehicle. It is. You sit in the driver's seat and it just feels right. The seating position's great. The clutch, I thought the clutch pedal was broken, but it's not. It's as light as a feather. And unbelievably, for a vehicle at age, it's even got a 5-speed gearbox. So keep tabs on the videos, okay, because that one will be coming on at some point. We'll be getting recommissioned, not restored, but it needs recommissioning and brought back to life. So that's the plan for that one. Right, if you've enjoyed this video, please tick the like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Keep up to date. I'd say the Series 1 Land Rover bulkhead, that is part of the winter project. I'm painting it now before the weather gets too bad. So that is my, when it's too wet to work on Bernard project, we've still got the Series 1. Failing that, we'll be popping down to the storage and having a little bit of a play with the Albion. Get some fresh fuel in it, check the levels, and see where we go with that one. Right, catch you on the next one.